I'm sure by now all of you guys have heard of the beef between Bryson DeChambeau and Brooks Koepka. However, have we actually figured out which one is actually the better player? Having beef like that definitely leads to the conversation, who is better? So in this particular video analysis where we compare Brooks Koepka versus Bryson DeChambeau, we're going to try to make a claim, who is the better player? So without further ado, let's go do this thing. But before we get into this video, I gotta give a quick shout out to our sponsor, and that is Kiwi Golf Japan. If you're looking for a virtual online place to where you can watch a bunch of golf videos about golf instruction, then Kiwi Golf Japan is the place for you. With over 150 videos, as well as over 55 plus hours of golf instructional content, Kiwi Golf Japan has everything that you could possibly want. Videos for beginners, videos for intermediate players, videos for advanced players, webinars, round lessons, lessons with our pros, videos where we just talk about golf concepts. Again, we have everything that you could possibly want on this membership site, and it really helps us support us so we can create more videos for YouTube and continue to give you guys value. So if you guys are interested in it, make sure to click the link down below, and with that out of the way, let's get into this analysis. So in this particular video, we're specifically taking a look at the driver swings between the two players. We're gonna see why is it that one of these players is potentially a lot better driver than the other. To do this, we're gonna take a look at strokes gain. As well, we're gonna be taking a look at 4 positions throughout the swing and kind of show you the differences between the two, and then show you why I think that one swing is a lot better than the other when it comes to hitting the golf ball much further. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at the statistics first, and then we'll get into the swing. So taking a look at the statistics, we're seeing that Bryson DeChambeau is leading the PGA Tour when it comes to strokes gained off the tee. He's gaining roughly 1.170 strokes relative to the field every single round. As well, in the BMW Championship, he was gaining 2 strokes relative to the field, and his nearest competitor was Rory McIlroy at 1.1 strokes relative to the field. So he almost gained a whole stroke more than Rory McIlroy, which is quite impressive. If we take a look at his driving distance average, he's right around 323 yards, and then his driving accuracy percentage is right around 54.21%. Now, hopping over to Brooks Koepka, we're seeing that he's right around 7th place on the PGA Tour when it comes to strokes gained off the tee. However, if we compare him to a Bryson DeChambeau, he's looking like he's not that good of a driver, because his average is right around 0.633 strokes gained relative to the field every single round, where Bryson DeChambeau's was like 1.170. That's pretty much 0.5 strokes higher for Bryson DeChambeau. Now, 7th place by no means is terrible when it comes to driving, but again, if we're going to compare him to Bryson DeChambeau, he's nowhere close at this current time. Now, driving distance is right around 310.5 yards, and then driving accuracy percentage is right around 57.06%, which is a little bit higher than Bryson DeChambeau. Overall, though, based off the statistics, we're seeing that Bryson DeChambeau in 2021 is a lot better driver than Brooks Koepka. So, we can officially say it, Bryson DeChambeau is the better driver in 2021. So what I'm going to go do is take a look at the 2 golf swings and try to figure out why is it that Bryson DeChambeau is such a further hitter of the golf ball, as well as he's gaining a lot more strokes relative to a Brooks Koepka. So the main point you should get across when it comes to strokes gained and who is it better at getting more strokes gained off the tee, it really comes to distance relative to accuracy, which I think is common sense, but let me break it down a little further. If you hit the golf ball really far, let's say 320 yards like a Bryson DeChambeau, and then your fairway accuracy percentage is like 55%, that's a pretty good combination there. However, if you hit the golf ball, let's say 290 yards, and then your fairway accuracy percentage is 54%, that's not a very good combo there, right? Because you're not hitting the ball very far, and your fairway accuracy percentage relative to your distance is not very good. So when it comes to players who are really good with strokes gained off the tee, that's kind of the ratio you tend to see. They have a really good fairway accuracy percentage relative to their distance, and that's exactly what these 2 players do. However, Bryson DeChambeau is definitely better than Brooks Koepka, at least in 2021 when it comes to driving off the tee. Now, the first point I want to take a look at is going to be Bryson DeChambeau's initiating trigger move, which I think is really interesting. It's something that you see a lot of the long drivers do, and you're not seeing too many PGA Tour players doing this. So at setup, we're going to see that the knees are quite flexed here. But as soon as he starts to take the club back, you can see that the knees go from a flexed position to a completely extended position. Now, the reason why he's trying to do this is he's trying to initiate these vertical forces that he's going to be using throughout the swing. So he's trying to get the taller feeling on the backswing so that he can get lower on the downswing and then taller as he starts to approach impact. That's really kind of the vertical forces you'll see throughout the swing, especially for the people who hit the golf ball really, really far. Now from here, as he starts to take the takeaway back, we can see the classic DeChambeau takeaway where the club head gets really far away from the hand, so he has a lot of width. And the main reason why he has a lot of width is because he keeps his wrist in an ulnar deviated fashion throughout the whole takeaway, which is very rare and you don't see a lot of people do that. But the benefit to doing that is you will get quite a lot of width at that particular point in the golf swing. Now, if we go take a look at Brooks Koepka's motion here, we're going to see that from setup to about position 2, if anything, we're seeing him kind of lower in that position. We're definitely not seeing him get taller. And then also, if you take a look at the upper body and lower body, you're seeing a little bit of a linear shift here as well, where Bryson DeChambeau's wasn't quite so much linear as opposed to more vertical. So he wasn't really moving side to side, DeChambeau. He was moving more up and down. And then Koepka, we can see he's actually, if anything, moving a little lower, and then definitely moving a lot more linear. And then as we get to the same position 2 spot here, we're going to see that Brooks Koepka doesn't have nearly as much width as Bryson DeChambeau. And then as well, the overall look of the body is a lot different. Brooks Koepka has his chest a lot more over to the right, and then he's lower. And then Bryson DeChambeau has the chest a little bit taller, and then it's a little bit more in line with the pelvis. So he's not having the sternum over his right foot as much. Now from this particular position to the top of the swing, there's some also really interesting moves with the rib cage, pelvis, and knee movement that Bryson DeChambeau does. So if we take Bryson DeChambeau from P2 to position 3, and maybe just even a little past P3, I want you to take a look at what his knees have done here. This is a classic movement that you used to see with a lot of the old school players, where the knee moves this way. So we can see that his lead knee has moved into internal rotation. As well, his heel has already started to lift off the ground. Now to complement that, we're seeing that the trail knee has extended while it's kind of externally rotated at this point as well. And this is something that you see with a lot of the longest hitters in the game. They all have this knee movement, because what this knee movement allows you to do is to rotate the pelvis a whole lot more, which then in turn allows you to rotate the rib cage a whole lot more, which then ultimately gives you a longer swing and more time to generate speed, which is everything that Bryson DeChambeau is trying to do. Now to complement this as well, which this is something that I think is oftentimes overlooked, but I want to bring it up in this video. So that's it for you guys on YouTube. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys want to watch this full video as well as 150 other videos and over 55 plus hours of golf instruction, go check out our membership site. That's Kiwi Golf Japan. I'll leave that link down below. Other than that, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share all that good stuff, and look forward to the next video.